The Duchess of Sussex's denials that she cooperated with the authors of Finding Freedom, the controversial biography that unleashed a new wave of revelations about the Sussexes' strained relationship with the royal family and Meghan, were contradicted by evidence from her former communications chief at Kensington Palace, Jason Knauf, it was alleged. The publisher told the Court of Appeal in London there is new evidence showing the privacy case before the judge Lord Justice Warby had been based on a false premise. Andrew Caldecott QC, for ANL, told judges that the new evidence from Mr. Knauf in the form of texts raises questions about Meghan's credibility. He argued the letter was written with public consumption in mind as a possibility. Far from being an intimate communication for her father's eyes only, Meghan wrote the letter knowing Thomas Markle might disclose it to the media, he said, adding, "The fundamental point turns out to be false on the new evidence." The letter was crafted specifically with the potential of public consumption in mind. ANL also believes that Thomas Markle had the right to reveal the contents of the letter to correct some inaccuracies contained in an article in People magazine, published days before ANL's 5 articles, which featured an interview with 5 friends of Meghan who spoke in detail about the same note. Mr. Caldecott QC has said that ANL's defense to the Duchess of Sussex's privacy claim should have gone to a trial. He told the Court of Appeal that Meghan's claim was diminished and outweighed by her father's right to reply following false or misleading allegations published in People magazine in the U.S. He said, "The claimant's letter and the People article both make allegations against Mr. Markle of cruelly cold-shouldering the claimant in the pre-wedding period. The article, or its gist, was reported worldwide." The barrister added, "We say there was a difference between what Mr. Markle said and what he was presented as saying." He concluded, "The defendant submits it has a strongly arguable case that by the time of the publication of the articles, the claimant no longer had a reasonable expectation of privacy of the text of the letter." ANL has also said that new evidence from the Duchess of Sussex's former royal communications chief Jason Knauf, who now works for Harry's brother Prince William, contradicts the pleadings before the judge when he ruled in her favor earlier this year. Mr. Knauf also alleges that Meghan cooperated with the authors of Finding Freedom, which she also previously denied in the High Court case. Mr. Caldecott said, "At or about the same time as the People article appeared, the claimant cooperated with the authors of a book, later entitled Finding Freedom, through her communications secretary Jason Knauf in autumn and winter 2018. The claimant has expressly denied any such cooperation with one minor concession which we say is now contradicted by the evidence of Mr. Knauf. The book was not published until August 2020, long after the articles she complained about, but it substantially reproduces the claimant's case about her father's bad behavior prior to the wedding. Against this background, the defendant, ANL, submits it has a strongly argued case that by the time of the publication of the articles, the claimant no longer had a reasonable expectation of privacy, given it was written with public consumption in mind at least as a possibility. Or if it didn't, it was diminished and outweighed by Mr. Markle's right of reply, the need for correction and wider public interest. Those 3 concepts all being distinct and all engaged. Lastly, the claimant's pleaded case can be shown to be materially false by contemporaneous documents. Subject to one limited admission, the claimant denied any cooperation with the authors of the book, Finding Freedom. She also denied that she even suspected that Mr. Markle would leak the letter and therefore was written as an entirely private document. We say this raises questions about her credibility. Mr. Caldecott added that Meghan made no effort to correct an article in People magazine in the U.S., which featured an interview with 5 friends of the Duchess of Sussex, adding that Mr. Markle had considered the article to be a serious attack on him. He told the Court of Appeal in London that Mr. Knauf's new evidence, yet to be made public, allegedly proves she had personally cooperated with the authors of Finding Freedom, which she had denied. The High Court case heard she had indirectly advised them only about her relationship with her father, via a friend. He said that the case of the Mail on Sunday and Mail Online is that Thomas Markle deserved right of reply, in light of Mr. Knauf's evidence and how the letter was put together with the help of her Kensington Palace team. Meghan's legal team are opposing the appeal and argue that the judge reached the right conclusions on the evidence before him. They also object to the introduction of Mr. Knauf's new evidence and say that, if the court accepts his statement, Meghan will also wish to put forward new evidence. Another news, Dan Whitten spoke about Meghan's Duchess title on GB News. They have the status that being a royal gives you without any of the consequences that being an elected politician comes with. Why does she still have the title? That is where I am confused. Journalist Carol Malone added, why not just give it back? Piers Morgan made a big thing today on Twitter, saying take it off her. The Queen should not allow this to go on. If this doesn't hack the Queen off, I don't know what will. Mr. Whitten said, I completely agree, I've been saying for months and months, the title must go. These two people are charlatans, they are chancers, they are prepared to railroad over the British royal family. They don't give a damn about the Queen. They don't give a damn about the reputation she has built up over decades and decades. They make me ill.